Okay, welcome. This chapter is on regular expressions. This topic is not in the textbook at all, which means you're really going to have to be paying attention to the lecture to make any sense of it. Regular expressions is a tough topic. I mean, I have entire books on the topic. We could probably teach an entire one semester course on regular expressions. So it's a tough thing, and I know that learning yet another language is kind of complex, but just something that's very, very valuable. So let's start at the very beginning. What the heck is a regular expression? Well, it's a language, as described in Chapter 6, that is used to do pattern matching. So if I want to match the word Mary in Mary Had a Little Lamb, I need to figure out some way to encode that so that I find precisely what it is I want. That's it. It's a pattern matching language. Okay? Now, if you poke around on your own and look at regular expressions, they basically come in what's called, two types. They have what's called basic regular expressions. Sometimes it's abbreviated BRE. And then others are enhanced. And the basic ones, we'll go through those first. And they're kind of simple and they're kind of easy to understand. And then the enhanced ones get a little bit more complicated, as you might expect. Okay, so to make this thing make sense, I found an online regular expression tester. Okay, there's the URL if you want to follow along. And so here's some text that they provided and some regular expression stuff that they threw in. I'm going to go in and make a few changes here. Okay. So I'm going to go in and change this and start adding my own stuff. Okay. I'll tell you what, let's the heck. I'm going to go ahead and just whack all their text and put in Mary Had a Little Lamb. Okay, cool. All right. Now, if I wanted to find Mary, one of the ways you could do that is you could just type the word Mary, and it would automatically find that thing. Okay, that was kind of simple, right? That wasn't complex at all. But there's some other things in there. There's things called meta characters. And what a meta character is, a character that you put in here that doesn't mean, it's not part of the pattern, it means something to the regular expression engine. And the first one we're going to learn is the caret, the shift 6 guy. So I'm going to do shift 6. And what that basically means is find Mary only at the beginning of a line. So if there was another down here, Mary Had a Little Lamb, this is Mary a second time. See how it only lit up the first one. So the little hat guy, caret, the shift 6 guy. But basically what that means is match something only if it's at the beginning of a line. Okay, that's pretty easy to remember. You think maybe there's one that does the exact opposite of that? Yeah, it's dollar sign. Dollar sign means match something at the end of a line. So for example, dang it, I'm gonna have to add some more stuff to this. Okay, so now I have the word time in two locations. So if I was to go here and type in the word time, it's going to match two of these guys. Cool. But if I do time dollar sign, the dollar sign is going to go at the end because that makes sense, right? It's the end of the thing. And that means it's only going to match at the end of a line. So we've learned how to match the beginning of a line and how to match the end of a line. Woohoo! So far, so good. The next one would be what they call a character class. Now that's a term that we used in Chapter 6. Character class basically says, I want to have multiple choices, so to speak. So I'm going to change this one to a lowercase m. So now it's lowercase m and Mary. So if I go here and type Mary, it's only going to find the first one, right? And if I change this to a lowercase, it's only going to find the lowercase one. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to tell it's okay to find either an uppercase or a lowercase. So what you do is you put in a square bracket and put in the two things that you want to see. I want to see either an M, uppercase M, or a lowercase m. And then doink, and that will find both. So the thing in square brackets is called a character class, which basically means everything in here, pretend like that's okay. Okay? And so you can do it this way. You can do it with, just a series of letters, or you can put a dash in there. So for example, I don't know, this is getting kind of crazy, but instead of N, let's do, L through O. Okay? That sounds a little weird. So what that basically means is any letter between L and O will match. Okay? So you could just say, list the letters you want, and you can have as many as you want. Or you could do a dash and put in, multiple ones. Now, unfortunately, you can't do both. It's either has a dash or it doesn't have a dash. And by the way, there's not like any commas or anything between, like when I did the uppercase and lowercase thing. There's no comma. It's just M and then M, right? Okay. So a character class, and then the dash, in this case, it has a special name. It's called a character class meta character. Don't worry about what it's called. The dash basically means, hey, this character set, I want you to use a range of values. And you can do all sorts of strange things. I mean, not in this case, but I could say, like, I want a number. So I could say, like, 0 to 9, like that. Or I want all uppercase letters. So that would be an A through Z, like that. That means I'll take all uppercase letters, no matter what they are. Okay? Some good examples there. Okay. So there's one more, and that is I can tell that I want everything not in that range. Okay, so for example, let's do M and O for whatever reason. Okay, and then if I put the little caret inside. Okay, now we've used the caret already. The caret means the beginning of the line. And quite frankly, I wish they had come up with another symbol, but that's just how they did it. So the very same symbol does not mean anything about beginning. Now it means not. So in other words, anything that does not start with an M-N-O. All right? So it doesn't start with M-N-O, then it'll match. So the little caret means not. And you can use it like this, or you can use it with the other technique with the dash, like I want to be no uppercase letters. Okay, so no matter what it is, as long as it's not an uppercase letter and then A-R-Y, I'm happy. Okay, kind of makes sense? Okay, the next one basically says match any character. And any character is kind of weird. It's sort of like, okay, I want to find something that's well, it's a little difficult to tell. If I was to go in here and do, how about M with some character, don't care what it is, RY. All right, so as long as there's a character in there, then it's going to match. So the dot is sort of like match anything, except there's some rules, and you're going to have to be paying attention to the rules. Hint, hint, hint. Okay, so if I wanted to find, I'll tell you what, look, I'm going to make a couple of changes here. So I'm going to go here and say, okay. And then I want, okay, so here's my guy. All right, so I want to find any word that has a J in the third position. Okay, that's all I want. So how would you do that? Well, I would have to do this a little carefully. I have to say I want to start at the beginning, which would be the caret guy, and then 2 spaces, which means match anything, and then a J, and then 2 spaces, and then the $sign. So this is the way you can cheat in crossword puzzles. If you had a list of all words in the English language, and you said, okay, what I'm hunting for is a 5-letter word with J in the third position. This is how you would do it. You'd run this regular expression. Let's look at it one more time. Has to start at the beginning of the line. Okay. Has to end at the end, because I don't want majority. I want just the word major. It has to be exactly 5 characters long. Okay, cool. And so I said, I don't care what the first character is. I don't care what the second character is, but the third character's got to be a J. And then I don't care what the fourth one is. I don't care what the fifth one is. So this is a cool way of coming up with a cheat for playing solitaire. Woohoo! All right. So does that kind of sort of make sense how I did that? So the dot, now I'm going to talk about the rules. I went off on a tangent. Forgive me. So the rules basically says that the dot matches anything. Anything to include white space. White space we're going to talk about a little bit different. But typically we're talking about spaces and tabs and things of that nature. Okay? But a dot will match anything. Any valid printable character, so to speak. Okay? But it will not match the new line. You know, the character turn guy. It won't match that. Okay? So that's the only thing it will not match. It'll match all the other white space, but not the new line. Okay? Cool. Okay. So those are the, how many of them? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the basic regular expression tools. So you got the little hat guy, which means the beginning, the little $sign, which means the end. You got the character classes, and there's 2 different ways you can do a character class by just putting in the letters you want. Or you can put in a dash to have a range of characters, and then the not variant of that, and then the dot, which means I'll match anything, well, all characters except for the new line. Okay, so what's missing in here is like the asterisk. If you've ever played with, you know, the DOS prompt or Unix or something, you know, like, I want to do a dir asterisk.txt. Well, there is no asterisk thing here. By default, everything is matching unless you tell it otherwise. So there is no asterisk. The closest you get is this dot thing, and it's really not an asterisk. It's a single character. To get the asterisk kind of capability, you need to step into the enhanced versions of regular expressions, which we're going to do here in just a moment. Okay. So the next thing is called alternation. Hey, I don't come up with these names. Alternation basically says, okay, I want to have like 2 different spellings of this. Let's say, for example, I don't know, my hair is gray. Okay, cool. But you don't really know how I spelled it because maybe this is a different kind of spelling. So you want to find gray like that. Okay, cool. But you also want to find it if it was spelled with an E. So this is a really cool thing you can do. It's called alternation. That you can basically go in and use the pipe character. That's the one right above the enter key, like this. And do like that. Okay, now typically when you do this, you put this in what's called a sub-expression to kind of limit where that takes place. Okay. So it's a grouping thing. So for example, hey, I'm going to change this. Well, dang it, I'll have to make a lowercase out of that. Okay, so that's one way of doing it. You group it together, and then you use the style character that's above the enter key. And that basically means an or. I'll take gray spelled that way, or gray spelled the other way. Now, this was probably not the most optimal way to do that. There's probably a shortcut technique you can use. How about this? Why don't we shorten this thing up a bit and say GR, and then just do the A pipe E Y, like that. That's shortened it up a little bit. It says the same thing, it's just that before it was, you know, the entire word and then the pipe and the entire word. Here, I'm just telling it what characters that I need. Okay, we're coming up on the 15-minute mark. So I'm going to pause the video and pick this thing up again in just a few.